Alright guys, so this one's pretty straightforward. A lot of you guys have heard this concept before, maybe from some Middle East scholars, but just thought I'd mention it again. The Quran has in it laws. Many laws, just like the Torah has laws. The Quran has laws. What are the laws? The laws are, or one of the laws, it says, any land that Islam ever conquered, not step foot in, conquered, fully conquered. Now there's different opinions what conquered means. Let's just say conquered, ruled over, right? Any piece of land. No matter who comes there again and sets up shop again and, reconquers it or grabs it from them or conquers it back or, steps foot in it and rules or whatever it is, Islam, that piece of land belongs to Islam forever and ever and ever. Folks, Muhammad basically set down a theo-political / theo-military construct. The whole thing was meant to be spread by way of military conquest. Today you guys see Islam, or the powers that be in Islam, in the Islamic world, realize, okay, we're not going to be able to do this militarily, largely. We're going to have to do it administratively and by way of population, right? But it's as if it's military. It's essentially a military, moving forward of the troops, right? A military mobilization, if you will. Just by way of populating in a certain area, right? Then will come the swords later, right? But right now, they've had a little bit of a change in strategy, right? But, folks, this was a theo-political construct. And the construct says, once it's ours, it's always ours. Once we conquer it, doesn't matter who it belonged to in the first place, it's always ours. So, my friends, Islam conquered the entirety of the land of Israel. Whenever this was, right? The late 600s, early 700s. And so, heaven forfend, the Jews came back, took back the land, but friends, the land in the mind of every single solitary Muslim in the world, not just a quote-unquote Palestinian who lived there, of every single Muslim, a Muslim in Egypt, in Syria, in Lebanon, in Indonesia, in Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan, Africa, Somalia, Sudan, folks, Saudi Arabia. I didn't even mention they have about 53 or 56 Muslim countries. I didn't mention all of them. I'm just trying to tell you, Arabs, not Arabs, Southeast Asians, Central Asians, Russian speakers, Arabic speakers, Persian speakers, in the mind of every single Muslim in the world, the land of Israel belongs to Muslims, is Islamic land. Not allowed to be taken back. Not allowed for anybody else to rule besides Muslims. Okay. Now, my friends, interestingly enough, the Jews have their own halachot. We have our own laws. Our laws merely say that there's one land that belongs to us, not the whole world. And on top of that, we're not even supposed to spread Judaism. We're not even supposed to maybe, suggest or encourage converts. Or we're not supposed to spread Judaism in any way, shape, or form, much less by the sword, right? On top of that, guys, we have very, very specific outlines for what our land is, right? Our land does not stretch out to the whole world. Again, I said this before, barring this whole Mashiach scenario where, yes, they say the whole Israel, all of Israel become Jerusalem and the whole world become Israel. That's a different story, guys. We're talking about spiritual. the land of Israel has very distinct boundaries. Folks, one of the parts of the land of Israel, one of the parts, is what today is known as Gaza. We had Rabbi Israel Nacharal, who wrote the most famous Shabbat song, just one example, living in Gaza. He was the chief rabbi of Gaza in, I don't know, the 1600s. That's one of the places. Folks, do not let anybody ever convince you that Gaza is Arabic land or Muslim land. And we have specific outlines. And again, guys, there's only one place that we call ours. We don't say Poland is ours. We don't say Spain is ours. For example, guys, I don't know if you remember 9/11. 9/11's coming up, right? Osama bin Laden, after the attack, listed one of his goals of his organization was to, roll back this whole Reconquista thing. Basically, he wanted Al-Andalus back. What's Al-Andalus? It's a part of Spain that was conquered by Islam. In his mind, that part of Spain belongs to Islam, the Islamic Ummah, whatever, brotherhood. Not the organization, the Islamic world, the whole Muslim world. That part of Spain belongs to them. It doesn't matter if the Spanish took it back, it doesn't matter who's there. Folks, it doesn't matter. Okay? They conquered it at one point. They spread Islam over there. They ruled over there. It's theirs. Same thing with the land of Israel, my friends. And so, you see, they tried to reconquer it the Ottomans had it, right? So as long as the Ottomans had it, the Ottomans were Turks, but they were Muslims. As long as they had it, the Palestinians did not want a state, right? They didn't ask for a state from the Ottomans for 400 years. So-called Palestinians. Why? Because Islam had it. Okay, so Muslims are ruling us. Big deal. It's Turks. Okay, I'm not the biggest fan of Turks, but at least it's not a Jew, right? It's not a Christian. In which case, we'll fight them. We'll fight the Christian and we'll fight the Jew, right? Folks, the Jews came back. Not only is it the Jews now ruling over us, the people who were supposed to be dhimmis, and who supposedly, according to the Quran, lost their halik, lost their inheritance, their portion, right? Because of whatever, right? Their misdeeds, blah, blah, blah. They are not Muslims. And they are dhimmis, and they're supposed to be ruled over. They don't get to rule over us. This is asur. This is not allowed in Islam, folks. This is not about land per se. It's about theopolitical doctrine, Islamic theopolitical doctrine. And so they tried to conquer it by way of armies. They asked, first of all, they coordinated with the Nazis, right? They tried to do it that way. It didn't work. Then they saw an opportunity when we kicked out the British, the actual colonialists. They said, okay, now we're going to go to war with the Jew. There's way more of us than the Jew. We're going to take back Islamic land. Folks, in their mind, it's Islamic land. It's under Islam. We're going to try to take it back. So how we're going to do it? We're going to do it with this Pan-Arabist stuff, right? Egypt, Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, maybe some Iraqi guys, maybe some Saudi guys sprinkled in, Yemenite guys even, right? Didn't work. They tried it 3 times, maybe even 4 times. Who's counting? If you consider 48 and then 55-ish, and then 67, and then the war of attrition from 67 to 73, 72, and then 73, still tried. And then in 64, Arafat was like, let me make this thing. And I'm going to get the help of the KGB. I'm going to create this thing, and I'm going to use this thing called the Palestinian kind of national movement to psyop the world, right? I know the world hates Jews, so it's like this thing, and we're going to keep these people as like refugees. these poor downtrodden refugees. We're not going to take them into our countries, right? And we're just going to keep them there, and we'll use them as a battering ram, right? Against the Jew. My friends, so now they've convinced you that there's this thing called the Palestinians, right? And it's all about land. If you only just give them some land, let them share the land, let them have the land, have half the land, part of the land, everything will be okay. Folks, as we come to learn, even before October 7th, but October 7th was really the, it's like in case you didn't get the point, you finally, maybe now you get the point. It's not the point. It doesn't work, and it's not the point. The point is, it's Islam. Folks, why do you think Muslim guys of all stripes are attacking Jews all over the world now, right? And they're saying, free Palestine, we're doing this for Palestine. No, folks, they're attacking, why is there a synagogue? Why does a synagogue need security, right? What, because there's Zio-Nazis inside? No, because it's all about the Jews, guys, right? And it's all about Islam. Why did Uzbeki guys need to abduct a Chabad rabbi in the UAE and unalive him, right? How is that going to free Palestine? It's not going to free Palestine. They know that. But it's another dead Jew, right? It's another unalive Jew. My friends, this is about global Islam. Global. It has to spread globally. And if you walk, and they've said this, if you go into the the lair or the home or the secret hideout of any Hamas guy, right? Every time they walk into the place where this Hamas guy is sitting in Gaza, what do they see on the wall? They see on the wall a picture of Al-Aqsa over a map of the entirety of Israel and a picture of Al-Aqsa. And folks, what was the name of the operation? This October 7th operation? The Al-Aqsa flood. My friends, the Jew cannot be in Jerusalem. The Jew cannot have his temple. Only the Muslim can be in Jerusalem. The Muslim has to have control of this land, and only the Muslim can rule over there. The Jew cannot go there and pray. Okay, cannot even say Shema Yisrael. This is what it's about, my friends. This is what it is about. For those of you who are not grasping, for those of you who think it's free Palestine and the poor Palestinian people and blah 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 blah, blah blah blah. Okay. And pour this and pour that, and everybody deserves, to live in, this and that, and the Venice Film Festival and poor little Palestinian folks. I don't know if these actors and Hollywood people, I don't know if they get it. Maybe they do. Maybe their hatred for Jews is so blinding. I don't know, folks. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, I have my own theories about Yaakov and Esav and Esav and Ishmael and all the rest of it. Right? That's a story for another time. But my friends, this is not about the poor Palestinian people. This is about the global Islamic movement that says that there is no Jew living in his own land. There is not a possibility for that. It's a zero-sum game for them. Folks, you know what it means? That if it's a zero-sum game for them, it has to be, we have to force ourselves, we have to get ourselves into the mindset of telling ourselves and really convincing ourselves that it has to be a zero-sum game for us. It is either us or them in that land. It cannot be both, guys. Because they see that when we say that it's both, what does that mean? That means that we don't believe that it's ours, and that we will give them an opening for us to live, or for them to turn us into dhimmis. My friends, this is what this is. Do not live in illusions. Do not live in the illusion. Again, some of the most astute Middle East scholars will tell you what I'm telling you guys in different language, in slightly more flowery language. Maybe not Mordechai Kedar, but other people. My friends, this is what this is. They live under a theopolitical construct, and under that theopolitical construct, the Jew doesn't have a land. My friends, you know how I know this is true? I posted a video in the beginning of this whole, right after October 7th, of these soldiers, Russian-speaking soldiers, IDF guys, right, going to the front, going to the battle in a car. I got all of these Russian-speaking orcs, these Muslims, Tajikistan, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, all these people. You know what they said? They all said, you don't have a land. You're a people without a land. You are a people without a land. Where would they get this idea, folks? They would get this idea from the Quran. The Quran and their imams tell them that the Jewish people are a people without a land anymore. They had the land and Hashem took it away from them. Allah took it away from them. That's it. That's it, my friends. That's what this is all about. It's not about free Palestine. It's not about rights of these people. It's not about rights of those people, which we gave them years ago. There's 2 million people with Israeli citizenship. They can vote in elections. They have this. They have that. Okay? It's not about that, folks. It's just about this theopolitical construct called Islam, and it won't let go of what it thinks belongs to it. No matter what the reality on the ground is, no matter what historical reality is. And, 56 countries is not enough. They need 57. Or 57, they need 58. And one country for the Jews is not allowed. It's not allowed by Islam, and it's not allowed by other people that basically don't like us and refuse to admit it. Alright, guys. Hopefully that almost 17-minute thing was simple enough, and yeah. Talk to you soon.